is important because it can make the present moment less difficult to bear. If we believe that tomorrow will be better, we can bear our hardship today. Life has thrown an interesting curveball at us with the coronavirus pandemic and the subsequent lockdown of the country. I'm sure each one of us are processing this unprecedented time differently and trying to understand what is happening to each of us and to the world around us. After the pandemic, this is the first offline event which is being conducted by the Department of English, Pondicherry University. A very blissful morning to the Assembly of esteemed Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, professors, and my dear friends. The most anxiously awaited occasion is finally here. Even the Mother Nature has blessed us on our happiness and excitement by spreading a pleasant sky. On this auspicious day, I, Meera Shams, and my co-host Ritika KP are pleased to welcome each and everyone, and we are very happy to receive all of you who have gathered here to attend the two-day national seminar on contributions of regional literary traditions to Indian intellectual systems in collaboration with Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. To add more color to this event, we are celebrating the 75th year of Independence Day of India, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which is an initiative by Government of India to celebrate and commemorate 75 years of independence and the glorious history of its people, culture, and achievements. On this precious day, we are witnessing a proud moment in the history of Department of English, Pondicherry University. I assure you that this seminar shall be full of exuberance, excitement, and will create some beautiful memories for all of us. It is rightly said, days are not lost when memories are created. So once again, Honorable Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, teachers, and my dear friends, I would like to thank each and everyone for taking the time out of your heavy schedule and marking these hours with your glorious presence. Without any further delay, let's begin our program. Respecting our rich tradition and system, let's start this event by lighting the lamp. Professor Tejasvi Kattimani is a renowned personality in the field of literature and higher education. He has established himself as a well-known figure in literature. His contributions are very high as a critic and a translator. He has been awarded Karnataka Rajyotsav Award, the second highest civilian award in Karnataka, for his remarkable contribution towards higher education. I welcome you, sir.
Professor Gurmeet Singh Sahab, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the most prestigious university, Pondicherry University, Dr. Ujwal Jain, Coordinator of the seminar, Dean of the Faculty, Head of the Department, Professors, Teachers, Research Scholars, my student friends. I am very much obliged by your invitation to inaugurate the session and deliver keynote speech. I thank Dr. Ujwal Jain to select a wonderful subject, contribution of regional literary tradition to Indian intellectual system. I congratulate the department to select such an important topic. Because now we are all discussing since 4 years about NEP 2020. NEP 2030 talks about Indian knowledge system, how Indian knowledge system should come into textbook, should come into classroom deliberation. So this juncture of time it's very important to discuss about literary traditions, regional traditions, and Indian intellectual system. As rightly said by the organizers, India is a repository of intellectual and cultural wealth. It is a center of culture. It is a center of music. India is a center of art. India is a music, center of culture. Center of devasthanams, temples. Through temples, we have preserved the culture. We have preserved the music. We have preserved the great art of making devotion, connecting to each other. Indian knowledge system, it is there in water preservation, it is there in music, it is there in art, it is there in even writing. It is not only writing, there is a culture of not writing. But we have preserved our culture, we have preserved our music, we have preserved our knowledge system, even medicinal system through oral tradition. Tribes of India, Dalits of India, the women folk of India, they are famous for their orality. They are famous for their orality. Our Dadima, our mothers, our brothers may not have gone to school. They never seen the face of Pondicherry University, but they are scientists, they are technocrats, they are administrators, they are agriculturists, they are best musicians, they are best, treaters, human being and non-human being. They are best treaters of animals also. They know they know animal husbandry. They know how to blend our folklore into Mahabharata, into Ramayana, because our Vedas, our Upanishads, our Ramayana, our Mahapatra, our Mahabharata, our Panchatantra, Jataka Kathas, they are all part of our music system. They consist of our oral system. They consist of our medicinal system. They are having a system of Indian ethos and values. Not only this, written, as I said earlier also, written cultures and unwritten cultures we are having. Our folklore, our folk stories, our songs, our lyrics, our stories told by the people. I know one folklorist in Karnataka, Celia Ji. Whole night she will tell stories, she will recite poems, she will tell about Mahabharata, Panchatantra, without referring a single piece of paper. We have in Gujarat, Bhili Mahabharat. Bhili is the biggest tribe of Central India. Bhili Mahabharat, Bhili Ramayana. They run in several nights, several days. And there is no end for Bhili Mahabharat. There is no end for Bhili Ramayana. Tribal epics. Tribal people, they wrote epics. They wrote epics, but it is not written. They have formed Mahakavyas, but it is there in their mindset. Gondi Ramayana. In Karnataka, Jundappana Kavya, Mante Swami Kavya, Kadubala, the stories of Kadubala, Shriyaji Mahakavya. It is because rural India lives in oral traditions of knowledge system. We all know every language has its own knowledge system. Every knowledge contains their own, their music, their art, their food system, their knowledge system. their living system. We have to, we have to preserve these knowledge systems which are available within India. They are available among the people who never seen the face of the school. They are available, well preserved by tribes, well preserved by women folk of all communities and religions. To prevent the extension of traditional knowledge systems, what we have to do, what the seminar has to do, we have to protect our mother tongue, our Matrabhasha. We have to protect our mother tongue. We have to protect our tribal languages, because all more than 300 tribal languages are endangered. They are under threat. They are under threat. All our regional languages, they are under threat by many languages, the threat of many languages. So, primary education and textbooks, at least for the level of primary education, we have to produce textbooks in mother tongue, and we have to give education in mother tongue, so that the children, the young generation, can work on their mother tongue. Many languages, I know Sindhi language is in a very dangerous situation. Gurmeet Singh Saab, he knows better than me about Sindhi language and culture, Urdu language and culture. They are, diminishing. They are under threat of their own existence. How to save this? We have to teach the students. We have to teach the young generation Sindhi language. We have to teach the young generation Tamil, Tulu, Telugu, Marathi, Kannada, Odia, and other tribal languages. Within Odisha state, a rich state of music, art, culture, and Indian knowledge system, we have Savara tribe. They are very rich in their own language. They are very rich in their own traditional knowledge system, traditional healing system, traditional medicinal system. A language consists of healing system, medicinal system, collection of trees, of creepers, of fruits. This knowledge system is well preserved in our own society. We need to understand that obtaining a mere certificate in a particular subject, mere fluency in English, attending the best educational institution is not only education. It is one part of education. It is one part of education. We have to understand, attending a cow, nurturing a buffalo, maintaining a goat farm, making roti, making dal, making sambar, cleaning utensils and clothes, cleaning toilets and sweep roads, putting tar on roads, carpentry, blacksmithery, pottery, making chappals. They are an art. They consist their own knowledge system. They have their own traditional knowledge system. At the same time, they have a system of making the work, using hands, using brain and head, and involving their heart. Carpentry, blacksmithery, pottery, agriculture, rearing cows and buffaloes are part of education. I request you all, especially young teachers, let us think about, follow the teachings of Bapuji in the year 1930 in his Nayi Talim, that knowledge and hands should go together. We can make our preaching little less, and we can raise our hand experience little more, so that we can be able to establish again a Nalanda, again a Takshashila. We will be able to implement the scientific proceedings of Upanishads, Vedas, and so on. With these few words, I congratulate you all for conducting such a wonderful event, and I extend my heartfelt thanks to you all for inviting me and listening me. Thank you very much.
A very good morning to everybody. Esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, distinguished keynote speaker and most illustrious keynote speaker, Professor T.V. Kattimani, Dr. Clemente Lutz, Dean School of Humanities and our beloved colleague in the department, Dr. Ujwal Jain, the organizing secretary of this event, my friend Dr. Binusa K, Dr. H. Kalpana, as our senior colleague in the department, my colleagues in the department, heads of neighboring departments of our school, scholars and student friends, once again I extend a very warm welcome to you all. It's such a pleasure seeing you all after a long gap of 2 years. 2 years of standstill due to corona pandemic and its subsequent restrictions. Anyway, we are back here, and those who were with us for earlier events, I welcome you again. Those who have come for the first time for this specific event to our campus, I extend a very warm welcome to you, and I wish a very pleasant visit to our campus and a comfortable stay here. It's indeed my privilege to extend a very warm welcome to our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh. For the second year students who have just entered the campus, you may not know many things about our Vice Chancellor, but to put it so precisely, a whole range of younger academics and intellectuals always look after his guidance and inspiration. Sir, you have enhanced the value of this event by your mere presence here, and we eagerly wait for your presidential address. And there is a belief amongst us that whenever there is turbulence, whenever there is a storm, it will be certainly followed by a very calm, peaceful breeze, a very pleasant breeze. And when we were waiting very anxiously for 2-3 years because of certain turbulent times that struck us in the campus, it was Professor Gurmeet Singh who came as a breeze. And sir, I know without any exaggeration, I tell you openly, very honestly, that we all feel really very, very comfortable and very much, we feel at home when we work under your leadership. So unstoppable, sir, you are. We love you so much, and keep inspiring us, sir. I also extend my hearty welcome to our distinguished guest, Professor T.V. Kattimani, sir. It's really an honor and privilege to have him with us for the keynote. Despite his busy schedule, he was actually in an airport and he could join us and he could deliver the keynote address, which was very much evident of his scholarship. So thank you, Professor T.V. Kattimani, for having spared your time and for having shared your scholarship with us all. Thank you, and I profusely welcome Professor T.V. Kattimani for that, and I am very grateful to Professor Kattimani for having accepted our invitation and being with us. I extend a very warm welcome to Professor Clemente Lutz, I don't know, should I welcome you, sir, because you have been with us in all our endeavors, and like the Brazilian peace linguist Gomes, he is the peace linguist of our department, and whenever there is an issue, he never ever aggravates it or complicates it. He just tries his level best to solve it, resolve it. Sir, I tell you, your tenure as dean will be the golden period for the School of Humanities, and I heartily welcome you, sir, for this wonderful event. I welcome my colleague and the person who gives more and more and more visibility to our department, the star of the occasion, Dr. Ujwal Jain, who makes our department richer, and I wish he'll make our department the richest in competition with the Madanjit Singh Center for South Asian Studies, because we are always jealous of such centers which are funded more and more and more. So he is the man behind the success of this, the very arrangement of this wonderful event, and I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir. I welcome my dear friend in the department, the one who always listens to me, and I always listen to him, my friend, my best friend in the department, Dr. Binusa K, who is here to propose the vote of thanks. And I extend a very warm welcome to Professor H. Kalpana, who has left a very, very wonderful legacy in our department, and I'll assure you, ma'am, I'll put in the best of my efforts to uphold the image of the department, and I'll carry the legacy forward. Despite certain problems in the department due to COVID lockdown, and the department office caught fire, and on such circumstances, she managed the whole functioning of the department. I welcome Professor H. Kalpana also. I welcome all our chief guest dignitaries, my own colleagues, the heads of the departments, various other departments, my scholar friends and students who remain all the more very active and enthusiastic, because for them this is the first event in the campus. So they all were moving around like honeybees all these 3-4 days, and they were doing all wonderful work here. So I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I wish you all a very meaningful, fruitful academic endeavor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for that warm welcome. I consider it a great honor to welcome Dr. Ujwal Jain, a man of distinct vision and a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, an idol of knowledge and experience, and an inspiration to all, for introducing the theme. He is the Organizing Secretary, Associate Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University. With utmost admiration, I welcome you, sir.
Respected Professor Gurmeet Singh, our beloved and Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pondicherry University. Respected Professor T.V. Kattimoni, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh. Dr. Clemente Lutz, Dean, School of Humanities and Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University. Dr. T. Marks, Professor and Head, Department of English, Pondicherry University. Dr. Binusa K, Associate Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University. Eminent scholars, honored guests, research scholars, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to one and all. I'm extremely happy and grateful that so many distinguished scholars and teachers have come from different parts of the country to share their knowledge and thoughts on this particular topic. I would like to take this opportunity to express my deep appreciation for our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, who is going to deliver his presidential address, and Professor Kattimoni for honoring us as a keynote speech for this seminar. As far as this particular background of this particular seminar is concerned, we are all aware that 2020-21 we are celebrating and commemorating 75th year of India's independence, and Government of India has initiated Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to celebrate this 75th year of India's independence. And on behalf of the Department of English, we are extremely privileged to celebrate this in the form of a national seminar on contributions of regional literary traditions to Indian intellectual systems, in collaboration with and financial assistance from Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. As you all know, that India has for several hundred of years been the repository of the tradition of a rich and multifaceted intellectual and cultural wealth. The uninterrupted tradition of these Indian knowledge systems or intellectual systems for several millennia old, the antiquity of its culture, the profundity of its thought processes, the sustained pursuit of its intellectual inquiry have all contributed to the growth of the advanced knowledge systems across several fields of study. Now, what is interesting here is that the emergence of the strong body of what is known as Indian knowledge system, what we holistically we call it Indian knowledge system, is basically the cumulative effect of the contributions of all the regional traditions, and in that context, the regional linguistic, literary, philosophical, religious traditions cannot be ignored in contributing to these holistic Indian knowledge systems. We all know the cultivation of intellectual pursuit began in India with the Vedas and the Upanishads. Gradually, it branched into several streams of thoughts and nourished by the people from as diverse disciplines as grammar, Bhakarana, philosophy, art, architecture, mathematics, Ayurveda, and others. Major Indian knowledge systems like logic, philosophy of language, technology and craft, polity and governance, ethics and sociological texts, architecture, poetics, law, justice, mathematics, astronomy, agriculture, trade and commerce, medicine, life science emerged with the Vedic Rig Veda and continues to be practiced and cultivated by Indian minds still even today. Our country was admirably innovative in knowledge traditions and practices during the ancient and medieval times, and it has imparted its share of knowledge with the rest of the world. As Albert Einstein acknowledged, I quote, "We owe a lot to the Indians." I repeat, we owe a lot to the Indians who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made, I unquote. Now, I would like to briefly talk about all the regional contributions. Briefly, in the field of poetics, we all know the ancient philosophical traditions of Kashmiri Pratyabhijna philosophy, or Trikha traditions as propounded by Abhinavagupta and Anandavardhana and others in ancient times in Kashmir. Then the Naya philosophical traditions of Bengal, the Navadvip tradition, the distinct philosophical tradition of Adi Shankaracharya from Kerala, Sri Ramanujacharya in the southern part of India, and particularly from Mysore. In addition to that, we have also great philosophical tradition in line with Sri Aurobindo, Swami Vivekananda, Gyanadeva from Maharashtra, Ramana Maharshi from Tamil Nadu. Please have a look at our diverse religious traditions, Bhakti movements from southern and western part of India, Gaudiya Vaishnavism from Bengal, Manipur and Odisha, Sikhism from Punjab, Srimanta Shankardev from Assam. Our aesthetic traditions from Bharata, Abhinavagupta, Anandavardhan, Bhamaha, Dandi, Rajasekhar, Manmata, Vishwanath, Kuntaka, Mahima Bhatta, Sri Jagannatha represent a pan-Indian representations. And all these Indian aestheticians, they belong from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Then look at again our vast regional literary traditions and writings. The two Sanskrit epics, Mahabharata and the Ramayana, the two Tamil epics, Silapatikaram and Manimekhalai, Kalidasa Sakuntalam and Meghaduta may be counted among the landmarks of this period. We have on the one hand Bharata's Natya Shastra on the one hand and Tolkappiyam on the other hand. What I am trying to talk about here is that they all are coming from regional literary traditions, linguistic traditions. The outstanding representatives of Indian literatures in the regional languages are still the Sangam poets, 3rd century BC, Kamban, 12th to 13th century CE, then Alvars, then Ganeshwara, Tulsidas, Vidyapati, Shah Abdul Latif, Mirza Ghalib, the saint poets of the different parts of the country. Look at the amazing range of writers and their writings. We have Andal, we have Guru Gobind Singh, we have Guru Nanak Dev, we have Hala, we have Ilango, we have Kabir, we have Kalidasa, we have Mirabai, we have Mirza Ghalib, we have Shah Hussain, we have Vedavyasa, we have the Vishnu Sharma. And in the contemporary period, when we look at it, we have Rabindranath Tagore and Sharat Chandra, Tarashankar, Vibhuti Bhushan, Satinath Bhaduri, Mohashweta Devi from Bengal. Premchand, Jaishankar Prasad, Bharatendu Harishchandra, Suryakant Tripathi Nirala, Mahadevi Bharma from Hindi. We have Lakshmi Bejbarua, Padmanabha Goin Barua from Assam. We have Fakir Mohan Senapati, Radhanath Rai, Upendra Bhanja from Odisha. We have Puran Singh, Dr. Mohan Singh, Amruta Pritam from Punjab. We have Dr. K. Munshi, Narsi Mehta from Gujarati. We have Hari Narayan Apte, Agarkar Balachandra Nemade from Marathi. We have Bharati Dasan, we have Indira Parthasarathi, we have Kanya Dasan, we have Prapanchan, Sirpi Balasubramaniam from Tamil traditions. We have Siva Shankaran Pillai, M.T. Basudevan Nair, O.N.V. Kurup, O.V. Vijayan, Sara Joseph from Malayalam. We have S.L. Bhairappa, Chandrasekhar Kambar, you are Anantamurthy, H.S. Siva Prakash from Canada. Because of the paucity of time, I could not look at our ancient traditions, medieval traditions, and the contemporary traditions. I'll conclude this by saying that this particular national conference, we have tried to bring scholars from different regions of India. We have representatives from Kashmir, Professor Ajurda is there, Professor Binod Joshi is there from Gujarat. We have Ramkumar Mukhopadhyay from Bengal. We have Dr. Jamir Paul from Punjab, and also there are representatives who are going to present papers and share their thoughts from Assam, from Maharashtra, from Karnataka, and from other parts of India. So, in a multilingual country like India, these regional traditions of one particular remain unknown to the other, and it has to be changed. So, we are now equipped with technology to convey the ideas. So, this particular seminar seeks to examine, review, synthesize through an intensive and interactive process the myriad knowledge traditions that were produced by and practiced by thinkers, specialists in each field in the pre-modern India, in the medieval India, and in the contemporary time. So with this note, let me call it a day, on my behalf, and I thank each and every one of you for making it convenient to our Pondicherry University, and I'm sure that in the next 2 days you will be having a wonderful time, fruitful time. So please be with us and have a wonderful time. With this note, let me thank you once again. Jai Hind.
Now, I request Dr. Clemente Lutz, Dean, School of Humanities, Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University, to present Professor Gurmeet Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, with a memento as an expression of our gratitude. On behalf of everyone, we would like to thank you for your time. Your presence has been very valuable to us. Thank you, sir. Now, I would request Dr. T. Marks, Professor and Head, Department of English, Pondicherry University, to honor Dr. Clemente Lutz, Dean, School of Humanities, Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University, by presenting a memento to his constant support and guidance. We are indeed humbled and honored to have you, sir. Thank you. Next, I call upon Dr. Ujwal Jain, Organizing Secretary, Associate Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University, to honor Dr. T. Marks, Professor and Head, Department of English, Pondicherry University, by presenting a token of our love. Thank you, sir. Now, I request Dr. Ujwal Jain, Organizing Secretary, Associate Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University, to present a memento to Dr. Binusa K, Associate Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University. Thank you, sir. Now, I request our student representative, Ms. Rakhi R.S., to honor the strenuous efforts of Dr. Ujwal Jain, Organizing Secretary, Associate Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University, in making the event colorful. Thank you.
Dr. Clemente Lutz, who lends a charisma to the occasion. He is the Dean, School of Humanities, Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University. I welcome you, sir.
Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Marks, Head of the Department of English, dear colleagues, faculty from other departments, scholars and students. It is really a red letter day in our academic calendar today, as the barren academic halls once again started blooming, thanks to our Vice Chancellor, who helped us to see the shining morning faces of our students, rather than their tiny images on the computer screen. Our Vice Chancellor always used to say that coming from Delhi to Pondicherry is almost like coming from hell to heaven. Sir, I would like to make a small modification with your permission. This was like a hell before you came, and you have converted into heaven because of your dynamic leadership. Had Shakespeare lived today, you would have certainly used the same words to describe our Vice Chancellor as he used for Julius Caesar. Nature might stand up and say to all the world, "This is the man." Sir, last week you told us that age is catching with you. Never, sir, you are ageless. The tireless work you have done for the university will bear testimony to it. Age cannot wither you. Dr. Marx, the head of the department, is a man of merit. He knows how to use his whip to get things done as much as he knows how to milk the cows with his soothing songs. You can hear the noise in other seminars, but you can hear his unique voice in this seminar. Under the stewardship of Dr. Marx, I trust that the department will reach further heights of glory in the future. I congratulate him for taking up this assignment, and I wish him all success. My good friend, Dr. Ujwal Jain, is an ambitious evergreen hero of our department. During some of his discussions with me, I used to wonder, given time and resources, this man would certainly create a mini university out of our English department. So many good plans and projects he has, and I wish him success. I also congratulate him for making this seminar offline, in spite of all oddities, challenges, and obstacles. This seminar is being conducted in collaboration with Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. We are very grateful to them for their positive response and prompt interaction with us. And Professor T.V. Kattimani, Vice Chancellor of the Central Tribal University, he has given us a wonderful lecture. And in his keynote address, he has mentioned several things would be beneficial to our research scholars and faculty. So I thank him a lot. And I should also thank the one who is proposing the vote of thanks, my good friend Dr. Binusa K, to say just thanks to our research scholars and students is next to impossible. They are the true creators of this seminar, toiling day in and day out for its success. Our second year MA students, unable to see us working alone, have jumped out of the computer screen in order to help us physically in every possible way. My deepest thanks to our research scholars and students. Thank you one and all.
Now I request Dr. Clemente Lutz, Dean, School of Humanities, Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University, to honor Professor Gurmeet Singh with a memento. Thank you, sir. The best leaders not only inspire us, but develop and empower us to lead with passion. I take this opportunity to welcome the man behind the success of this university. With great honor and respect, I may invite Professor Gurmeet Singh Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pondicherry University, to deliver the presidential address.
We are meeting after a span of nearly 2 years, and this vibrancy was one which we all were missing. And I was wondering whether we'll ever be able to get back to this kind of a normal life or not, though we were interacting online. But then, as Dean said, it's a red letter day that we have come back to this. Yes, it is indeed, and we are back to what we all hope and what we all enjoy in our campuses. And let's pray to Almighty that this stays as it is. I was very pleasantly reading in the morning newspaper today that all curbs which were there for our COVID have been withdrawn from 31st March. There is going to be a very normal life other than the wearing of masks in crowded areas and maintenance of social distance as far as possible. We know that in a country like ours, maintaining social distance is, I think, nearly an impossibility. But then we have a habit of fighting these things out by having a herd immunity, which is in plenty in our country. They talk of this elsewhere, but in our it is inherently inbuilt, so there is nothing to worry. Professor Katimani, who has been very kind enough to join our seminar, and Dean Dr. Clement, and all dignitaries on the dais, and all my friends and students sitting here. As I said, I am delighted to be here with you, because after a long time we are having a vibrancy of this kind here. And the topic that you have chosen, regional literary traditions in Indian intellectual systems, I think there cannot be anything better than what you have chosen. And this is the most important thing which we need to explain to our young minds. When I was thinking here, I was wondering, when I was in class 7th, as a young lad, my father sent me to a trip of South India. It was a train trip. We used to have passenger trains, and we were a group of 40 students from various classes. And my mother said, he's such a young boy. Why are you sending him for a long trip of 20 days? What is the purpose? What has he got to gain from this? And my father said, no, this is the age. When he goes to South, he will know what are the traditions there. And this is the age when he is full of energy. He will stand, listen to everybody, go around, enjoy that food. And despite all kind of opposition in my family, my father stuck to that he'll go. And I made my first trip to South India in 66 rather, when we came in a passenger train, spending 3 nights in train to reach Madras. So then, believe me, by the time I passed out from school, I had visited my entire country, from east, north, south. Any state you name, I would have visited probably. And I was in a good position to debate on all issues. And the college that we joined was so vibrant, and whenever there would be any debate on any issue, probably we would be one of the first ones to participate in that. So this is the kind of a requirement which we all need to inculcate in our young minds. I feel very miserable when I talk to our friends during some of the interviews or during certain interactions over a cup of tea, which used to be more often earlier, but now it has, I hope it starts again. I used to have a bad habit of, while I'm moving from one place to another, and if I used to see a cluster of students standing anywhere, I would get down and start talking to them about whatever they would discuss. So I felt very miserable that people would not be able to name, let me put it very frankly, whether you like it or not, 4 newspapers in English. Or they would not be able to name the music traditions of one of our states. If you talk to them about Kashmir, they'll be totally lost. If you talk to them about Kerala, they'll be lost. Talk to them about Assam, they would be lost. So much so that our friends would not be able to name the capitals of these states. Leave aside other things, GDP, incomes, population density and all those. But this was a very depressing situation, and then I would obviously talk to them that during our time, we would require ourselves to be physically present to get to know everything. Now you have everything on your palm. Put anything and you get the answers. So your not knowing is inexcusable, but our not knowing was dependent on our resources. But I hope with this kind of a vibrancy coming in, this will pick up. And this topic that you have taken is a very important one, because regional literature is very important. If you remember, when I joined, I said I have a mind of setting up a center for Tamil studies, literature and translation. The idea was that some of the rich traditional literature that we have should reach the other part of the country, and from that side it should reach this part of the country, so that ultimately we should be able to know that all our civilizations, that side or this side, they are one. They are the oldest, one of the oldest, but then they are the ones, they have the same philosophy. So they merge, they gel very well with one another. But in good old days, we were of the impression that no, they are different traditions. So this is what is needed. And when you hear some of the best experts who have been around for this seminar, I think our students will be very much enriched that yes, that is what is there. And all these put together would merge into one system, which is what we call the Indian knowledge system. You would have, if you talk to your grandparents or elders in the family, they will tell you about this system. Look at the various kinds of traditions we have, various kinds of food, various kinds of dressing sense, various kinds of traditions in various parts of our country. Rich diversity we have, but there is a reason. I don't know how many of you have thought about it. There is a reason that depending upon the climate, depending upon the environment, we design our food, we chose our food, we chose our dresses. So there is a richness in everything that we do, and this is what will emerge in the form of literary contribution from those areas. But unfortunately, we don't go into those, and some of our young ones will always think that if I am into political science, I'm only going to talk about this. I am into English literature, I'll only talk about this. Hindi wala will think I only have to talk to others about my subject. But if you open out a little and go across, you will find that we are in a country which is full of wonderful traditions. In fact, our medicinal systems, which we gave up ages back, has been adopted by other countries, particularly Russia. If you go there, you will come to know traditional medicine system. So we had such rich traditions. You look at our religious philosophies. We are talking about environmental issues now. This was there in our religious books, that they were not only appreciating, they were worshipping nature in good old days. But over the years, by our different system, let me blame one of the systems is, we had a lot of very long colonial rule, and we adopted those traditions. Well, those traditions were good, there is no doubt about it, but then we should not have forgotten about our own traditions. We started forcing our kids, this happened in every family, that go to convent school, learn English, so much so that a child was forced to talk in English, speak in English, write in English, and we suppressed his original, Hindi mein bolte hain maulik chintan. We suppressed the original thinking of a kid, and that's unfortunately led to the downfall of whatever wonderful traditions we had. People have wrongly understood that if somebody speaks very good English, I think he's very brilliant, he's very knowledgeable. It is not so. Please be very clear, I'm talking particularly to the youngsters here, that language is not knowledge. Language is a means by which you can acquire knowledge. It could be any language. So don't think that unless you know English, you are going to be remaining in the lower rung of the ladder. It is not so. So therefore, English is there with us. It is inborn. It is in the air. So don't bother about it. But your original thinking that should come out of your mother tongue is the one you have to lay more emphasis on. So don't force your young ones in your family that learn English. So much so that our kids get bogged down by the pressure of learning English and they forget about their own traditions. So I am very happy that this kind of a topic you have chosen. It will bring out the rich traditions from all areas, and it will be for the use of our young ones here. And these young scholars who are here, some of them will be, I'm sure, research scholars as well. So they'll pick up good ideas after the end of the 2-day seminar, that what area to move into for carrying out effective research in your area. So I wish the seminar all the very best. I'll be very happy if the young scholars here can interact with those experts who have come from all parts of our country. I was reading some of the names. So you must interact with them during tea breaks, during lunch breaks, and whenever you get time, because this is one of the best ways to advance further in your own subjects. So I wish the subject a grand success, and I would be personally grateful to all those who have traveled from various parts of the country to here after this end of the pandemic. Let's hope you enjoy your stay here. I've always been maintaining here that Pondicherry is a very rejuvenating place. The moment you enter here, you have some kind of energy infused into you, and I'm sure you would be feeling the same. I've been maintaining it's a very spiritual place. It's a very positive place. All your negative thoughts which you had in your mind, you'll find will get away, and you will have a very happy, wonderful stay here. I wish the seminar, we are so used to the word webinar now, that it is difficult to get away from this. So I wish the seminar a grand success, and I am particularly hopeful that our young scholars who will be attending this would reap a rich benefit out of this. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I hope this vibrancy continues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. Next, I would like to take this opportunity to invite Dr. Binusa K, Associate Professor, Department of English, Pondicherry University, who has been a guiding light to propose the vote of thanks.
Honorable Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh, respected Chief Guest and Vice Chancellor of the Central Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh, Professor T.V. Kattimani, Professor Clemente Lutz, Dean, School of Humanities, Professor T. Marks, Head of the Department of English, Dr. Ujwal Jain, the Organizing Secretary of this two-day national seminar, eminent speakers, participants, faculty members, scholars, students, and friends. As we come to the end of this inaugural session, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. First of all, I'd like to express our gratitude to Professor Gurmeet Singh, our beloved Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University. Professor Gurmeet Singh has always supported the Department of English in all its endeavors. He readily agreed to be a part of this inaugural session despite his hectic schedule. I thank you, sir, for joining us today by sparing your valuable time and delivering the presidential address. Along with that, I would also like to thank the Vice Chancellor and other university authorities for granting us permission to conduct this seminar, an offline event after a very long time. I'd also like to thank the Chief Guest of the inaugural session, Professor T.V. Kattimani, for accepting our invitation to be the Chief Guest today and for delivering the keynote address. As he was in the airport and still he was able to deliver the keynote address. On behalf of the Department of English, I express our heartfelt gratitude to Professor T.V. Kattimani.